Hello there. Welcome to episode 95 of 15 Minutes of Genius. I am your humble and somewhat semi-genius host, Alex Baer, CEO and founder of Genius Juice. We love to bring on just great people, man. People that we love to talk with, great vibes, great energy, great connection. We bring on investors, we bring on brand owners. We're also really proud to bring on corporate buyers, right? And people that are running the buying division of chains throughout the US and also in Canada. And super humble and proud to have a great buyer on today. Before rolling in and introducing him, would like to give a big plug to Mark Nicholas, Mark N at ManhattanBeachStudios.net. There he is, the guy. So we're properly socially distanced. In California, we do 60 feet instead of 6 feet. So he's about 60 feet away from me. Can you imagine that, 60 feet away in social distancing? That'd be insane. But anyway, all right. So again, Mark Nicholas, Mark N at ManhattanBeachStudios.net. All right. So without further ado, our guest, I just want to leave as much time as possible to talk with him and have him share the story about the chain that he runs for corporate buying. He's the VP of merchandising. His name is Gavin Konkel, and the chain is called Earth Fare, which is very prominent in the southeast of the U.S. So without further ado, Gavin, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you guys?
Doing really good, man. Really good. Love the plaid shirt. Love it. I wear them all the time. Just not today.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's roll into it, man. I know we spoke offline for probably about 20 minutes right before this interview. So I think I'm going to have to pretend that I don't know the information that you're going to tell us. So I'm going to try to act surprised, but my acting skills are terrible. Okay. I just want to get that out of the way. So.
Roger.
Tell us, and it's good too, because now I know the right questions to ask, because I know the story. So tell us more about, I think the biggest thing I want to open up with is really the history of Earth Fare, right? A lot of people know some part of the history. It was a chain, something happened, it got rebooted, but I'm going to leave that to you. Tell us more about Earth Fare, what happened before, and where you guys are at now.
Yeah, so Earth Fare is a natural organic retailer in the Southeast, predominantly in the Carolinas, but we do have stores as far north as Michigan, all the way down to Florida. We just opened our 23rd store yesterday, actually, down in St. John's, Florida, south of Jacksonville. But 2 years ago, or 2020, I guess, of last year, February first full week, Earth Fare closed all 50 locations. They at one point had as many as 55 stores, and they went bankrupt before the pandemic hit. They had closed all stores for at minimum 4 months, and then we, obviously. I was part of the leadership team that brought some of our stores back, and that started with our flagship store in Asheville. And from that day on June 22nd of 2020, we had opened up 22 stores in a calendar year, and just opened up our 23rd yesterday. So super proud of that. It's been a long ride and a hell of a journey. There's been a lot of learnings, through a pre-pandemic buying habits to post-pandemic, which now is in the middle of a pandemic again, but growing pains and all those kinds of things. So we're very much a force to be reckoned with down here in the Southeast, and super proud to work here.
Yeah, definitely. And one thing, we talked about as well is like the opportunities there. I mean, I feel like the market is wide open because you have the big guys, you have like obviously the national natural retailer like the Whole Foods, you have conventional like Harris Teeter, but the Southeast and the South is really missing kind of that more boutique-y, more a specialty, natural, organic store where you just, you go in there, what you're going to find. It's easy to find it. And the store's not enormous. And also, just doing the math on this, you're opening up literally like a store, averaging one store a month. Is that correct? Are you guys nuts? It's like so fast.
Yeah, it's been pretty crazy. So like in my past, I got to Fresh Time in 2015. June of 2015, I think. And I think I got there with 14 stores, and a year and 10 months later, we had 54 stores up off of the ground. So,
Wow. So you're no stranger to this at all, opening up new
correct.
stores.
Yeah. So, when we originally signed on for this, it was to open, 4 or 5 stores. Then 4 or 5 stores turned into 8 stores, turned into 12 stores, turned into 16, and then 20 plus, right? At one point last year, we opened 12 stores in 11 weeks. It was quite insane.
Wow.
I don't know how we did it, to be honest. It just, I'm trying to think back to where I was this time last year, and it's just really a blur. I know where I was June 22nd because I was up for 33 straight hours opening the Asheville store, and we had tons of point of sale issues and all those kinds of things. So literally, I just went home to take a shower, and I came right back and worked obviously through the day. And then after that, you're plugging away. And I remember at some point I was in Charleston and Athens and in Florida and Kalamazoo, Michigan, and it's just a lot. So, we are a little crazy, but at the same time, what we're trying to build is, build a market in which we can provide healthy food to people and to be a better alternative to Whole Foods and Sprouts and Trader Joe's and Fresh Market and all those great competitors that we compete against every day.
Yeah. And I think what's also working for you guys is, like we talked about it, is, the brand recognition, right? Like that Earth Fare was around before. One thing that I've noticed, and my father was raised and raised in Charlotte, and a lot of his family on my dad's side is still out there. So when we visit family, we visit Charlotte. They go to Earth Fare. It's like kind of the local, like hidden, it's like the spot to go to and get the items that you're looking for, and they love Earth Fare. So every time I go out there, they take me there, and it's like a treat. So I think there's a lot of what I'm getting at, not to blab, is there's customer loyalty. So are you seeing that when you guys rebooted, in February or in, 2020, are you seeing a lot of customers that are just literally picking it right back up and coming back in to your stores?
Yeah, I mean, we've certainly had some challenges in some markets, but predominantly we've succeeded, right? Especially in our Asheville store where we had two Earth Fairs there previously. In small cities like Johnson City, we've had a loyal following there. We have in most of these markets a loyal following where they will drive 30 minutes to come to our store. Even if it's through a mountain or whatever. Johnson City is about a little over an hour north of Asheville. We opened again Asheville on June 22nd. We opened Johnson City about 6 months later in December. And we would have people drive all the way down from Johnson City over an hour away just to shop our stores. So there's several of those examples out there. And out in Boone, North Carolina, up in the mountains there, we had a loyal following there and have a loyal following. Athens, Georgia is obviously a college town, but we have a loyal following there too. So there's just several of these markets where we have that loyal base. And then ultimately now it's our job to increase that base, right? We want to compete against conventional retailers. We want to compete against, Sprouts and Whole Foods and Fresh Market and try to steal some of those customers away and then retain them.
Got it. Interesting. So what is looking at this, right? You got expansion going on, you got brand recognition. You're in a section of the country where, people know it, right? People know it. It's highly known. So what is the bigger vision here? Whatever you feel comfortable sharing, right? Because you've done massive expansion in the last year and a half. How many more stores, what are you going to continue to expand at this level, or is it going to slow down? Like, tell us whatever you can tell us. I'm really curious about your future plans.
Yeah, well, it's been a slow year this year. We've only opened, I think, roughly 10 stores. So
only.
Our goal is, hitting that 26, 27 store mark by the end of the year. We might have some, a store that reaches the first quarter next year, but then it's to regroup, right? There's certainly things we do really well from a merchandising standpoint. There's as every retailer is fighting it right now, there's operational issues with labor shortages and things like that. So, once we get the rest of these stores open, by the end of the year, hopefully, if not the first quarter of next year, is to get back and just get back into the stores and get good operational procedures and all those kinds of things, and just start enhancing every department that we can. As you're aware, when you have that explosive growth, there's less focus on the existing stores and more focus on the next store. So it's to get back in those stores and to do a damn good job.
Yeah, I think that's really, really smart, is just dig really deep in the stores that you have and then just grow the store-by-store movement, velocities, merchandising, all these really key things that are going to make these stores, marketing, right? Make these stores successful, social media, all these things we talk about. So very cool. So I want to get into something that maybe, I don't know how many people ask you about this, but personal stuff, right? Like not too personal, but like, what do you do? Like when you're not working? I know it's probably been almost no personal time in the last year and a half, so maybe that's a rhetorical question. but when you do have time, maybe from 5:45 a.m. to 6:45 a.m., like what are you doing to get your mind off of business and do something therapeutic?
Yeah, so my days basically are 6 to 6. And it's 180 miles an hour, those 6 to 6. So 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Sometimes it's a little earlier, sometimes it's a little later. But on the weekends, I've got a beautiful wife that I just married.
Congratulations,
April
man.
29th. Yeah, thank you. So
was there a wedding, or was it just like was it a small wedding, or what did the wedding look like in these times?
Man, it was really challenging. Kathy obviously planned all of it, but it was. We originally were going to have it up in Michigan, where we're from, and then we decided to have it down here, kind of as a destination vacation for our families to kind of come enjoy. So we had beautiful weather. It was about 50 to 60 people, I think. Gorgeous day, but it was like a family reunion at the same time because we hadn't seen each other basically in a year and a half, or some of us a year or whatever. People flew in from Washington, D.C. and Michigan and all over the place. So that was really nice. On the weekends, man, I like to just chill. Last year it was really draining because it was literally almost 7 days a week,
right.
all the time.
Retail doesn't stop, right, on the weekends. It actually increases on the weekends. So
exactly. And whenever there's an issue, I can't not focus on that. Like I want to be ahead of it and I want to be proactive and things like that. I'm very much a sports watcher. I love watching sports. I love hanging with my wife, obviously, and we got a dog and a cat. Coco is a chocolate lab, so she very much needs hiking and water and attention and that kind of stuff. So we hang with her. I work out and stay active. But yeah, mostly relax and chill. The last year and a half or so, it's just kind of been weird because, last year even the hiking trails and stuff were half-ass closed. So there wasn't a lot of things you could do, and it was just kind of. I'm totally cool being by myself. Like I'm a hybrid extrovert, introvert. I can do both. Sometimes I like to be, super engaging with people, and sometimes I like to just chill at home. So. I love movies too, and actually something that I picked up over the last year, and something that I hardly had ever done in my life before, was actually read books. When I had time, it was soothing to me, and the first book that I read last year was John Mackey's book that he came out with. So, which was a super interesting read, Conscious Leadership. And then since then, I've read a handful of other ones that help me with my day-to-day business life. And then ultimately, I think some of the things that I've liked to pick up on more is on the psychology part, how to understand people better, because if you understand people better, you can maximize them and get more out of them and empathize with them and all that kind of stuff. So that's something that I picked up.
Love it. Yeah, it's really cool. It seems like you're within all the chaos of, speeding things up, opening stores, the expansion, you're finding personal time. You were able to get married during all this going on, and have a wedding and all that. Hopefully you didn't get any calls from someone at Earth Fair, during the vows or anything. But yeah, so it's really cool, man. Love to hear that you're getting some personal time. And So, with hiking, one thing I'll mention too, it's because I think you said you like to hike and hiking trails. There's a really great hiking trail that's here in Palos Verdes. Next time you visit SoCal, which is probably at this point 2023, whenever we start traveling again, it was like clear-cut roads where people, thousands of people hike here. Like there's ocean views and big mountains, and like it's like a destination, right, in Palos Verdes. Very famous. Yeah. People from all over Southern California come to this area in Palos Verdes. They closed it during COVID for 3 months or 4 months. They reopened it, and literally you couldn't see the trails anymore. Like everything grew in so rapidly. Like when there's no human contact, it's like nature just totally like swallowed, all the trails. So anyway,
that's pretty cool at the same time though.
Yeah. It shows you like when humans are not involved, like with nature, like
nature takes over.
Nature takes over, man, with a vengeance. So I actually got caught hiking through there, and we couldn't get through. We had to turn around. It was that thick. So anyway,
wow,
random stuff, but cool, man. Well, I'm really super impressed with like all the growth. It's really cool to. I want to talk about LinkedIn for a second, because we follow each other on LinkedIn. We met, on LinkedIn, which turned into this interview. I think the biggest post you've had to date has been the BOGO one, right? Like about the BOGO program you guys have. I think that got the most likes and comments, right, on LinkedIn, from what I saw.
Certainly one of them. I was actually just talking to Zach, my category manager, about this. We were talking about content and how often we should post and things like that, and we try to keep it to like one a week.
You're not going to do like they're not going to do one a day like me and Mark Samuel.
You guys are beasts. I'm not on that level yet.
We're annoying LinkedIn influencers. I think it's ALI, annoying LinkedIn influencers. That's our.
But it's also super impactful. And I want my content to be stuff that people stop and look at and pay attention to. So I don't want to say the BOGO was the biggest one. I think there was a couple store opening ones that were pretty large, where it had like 40-some thousand views or whatever, which is cool. I'm not actively trying to grow my network. I just want to share the success that we at Earth Bear are having. The partnerships that we're continuing to build and rebuild and maintain. I really love seeing the execution that my teams do in store and sharing that with brands, because ultimately that's what drives this industry. I can make the best merchandising plan on the planet, but if my teams don't execute it, it's crap, right?
Exactly.
So I love sharing the success that, my vendor partners help contribute to, and then that ultimately my store teams go out and execute.
Love it, man. And then we talked offline, like connecting with brands is well, like you're kind of just getting on the ground floor of seeing brands that may be really small, but they're emerging and growing. Brands like Midday Squares, right? Like they came out of nowhere from Canada, and now they're breaking into the U.S. So it must be cool that you're on there, just really also to see what else is out there, right? Doing research.
Yes, the Midday Squares, we can give it a shout out to them because they're going to be a soon-to-be brand in Earth Fair.
Love it.
Which is cool. But it's like, like we were kind of talking offline, LinkedIn is something that I think all buyers should pay attention to, just because you can see the success that other brands are having and other retailers, right? So if I share my success, I'm sure there's executives at other retailers that potentially could see that if they follow me, right? But they don't necessarily have to follow me. They can follow you, and you can like my post, and then that probably populates their feed, or at some point will populate their feed. So I love seeing you guys, you specifically, and Mark. I've done an interview with Mark, and you guys are driving forces. And actually, I had reached out to Mark too because of success that he had at Jimbo's, and obviously, I don't have a personal relationship with Wade, but I mean, he does similar things that I do over there. And, it's impactful when competing retailers, maybe not in the same part of the country, but we can kind of see what's working and what's possibly not working. And you could always do that networking at a trade show, but, I think where this is this kind of acts as that trade show floor or that trade show drink session after 9 or 10 hours standing in the booth or walking from booth to booth route, right? So LinkedIn is super special, and it's going to continue to drive brands, Midday Squares, Olipops of the world, and all those kinds of brands that have just recently come up but are having massive amounts of success.
Absolutely, man. And it's really cool. Like, one thing just to acknowledge you, Gavin, like, no BS. Like, it's really hard to reach any kind of buyers on LinkedIn because they get so many messages, and you're like, for the most part, right? Like, you're busy, but you respond. It might take a day or whatever, a couple days, but you respond. And then Wade also responds. So, like, it's cool to reach out to buyers, connect with you guys, get feedback from you, versus doing email or having to wait, for a review. And that really helps brands that are small, right? That are really trying to grow and get our brand out there, So really big hats off, man. Hats off to what you're doing. Thank you.
So you're one of the lucky ones. I'm not going to say that I respond to every single one, because I literally get hundreds of messages a day. Yeah, it's just as bad as emails, right? Like, I get somewhere between 400 and 600 emails a day, and then the LinkedIn messages. The LinkedIn messages, especially after a post, are absurd. So,
what did I do? What did I do to get you to notice me versus all the other ones, or is it just because I'm me,
dude? It could totally be a timing thing, right? Like, you're West Coast time. So if you sent me something at 9:00 p.m. your time, I got it at 12, and maybe that's the first thing that I saw when I woke up in the morning. And, sometimes it's just lucky, man. I will say that if you hit me up at 5:30 in the morning, there's a chance, there's a higher probability that I'll respond at that time than if you hit me up at 9:00 in the morning, because I am, like I said earlier, like 6 to 6, man, I am 180 miles an hour, and please get out of my way.
So for those that are watching on here, make sure to message Gavin early in the morning or late at night, but never during the day. Okay, that could actually hurt your chances. So
higher probability of a response during those weird hours.
Exactly, and I'm nothing but weird, man. I'm either up. Usually I think I reached you. This is actually fun. This is a true story. I think the first time I reached you, I was up so freaking late. It was actually 5:45 in the morning your time. So, yeah.
Yep.
It pays off to be up late, right, as an entrepreneur. All right, and here, that case in point, right here. All right, well, let's get into our next segment here. Since we're running low on time, and this is called Rapid Fire Questions. Rapid Fire Questions. All righty. So I know it's getting late there, so we're going to wrap this up so that you can go home and get some rest. Are you in the office or are you at home? I can't see the background.
I'm at home for sure. I try to make it home by 6 or 6:30, sometimes 7 if it's this week's been pretty bad examples. But I'm at home.
I got it. Yeah, the monitor in our studio is small, so I can literally, all I know is that there's a door and an air conditioner. That's all I can see you, and it's hard to see the background. But anyway, all right.
I got you.
Yeah. All right, dude. So here we go. Questions, answers. First thing that comes to your mind. Here we go. NSYNC or Backstreet Boys?
NSYNC.
First thing you do when you wake up?
I start making coffee.
Love it. So you can go 180 miles an hour. So this one, you talked about movies. Movie, you're Netflix and chill type, just like me. Movie you can watch an unlimited amount of times. Unlimited.
Inception.
Yeah, I almost thought you were going to say NSYNC for a second. Like, that's a movie? If it was a movie, it went straight to video, I'll tell you that much.
NSYNC's NSYNC's bye on repeat all day.
for 2 hours. Oh, man. That would be one movie that would give me a major headache. And anyway, all right. So speaking of music, song you can listen to an unlimited amount. Is it Bye Bye Bye? I'm just kidding.
Definitely not. I'd say I'm gonna take this one back. I'm gonna go Eminem, Without Me, or Lose Yourself.
Lose yourself. Actually, one of my friends forced me to do that at karaoke. Lose yourself.
Oh, dude, I need to see that video.
It's in the vault, my friend. It's never going to see the light of day.
Understood.
But when I was in high school, I remember what was it? Marshall Mathers LP hit.
Yeah.
It was it was like the album of the year. It was so huge. Yeah.
I remember that. I want to say I was in like 5th or 6th grade. That's the only thing my friends and I listened to for like a year.
Yeah, man. It was like, I think Eminem said, like, I think I'm bigger than Jesus this year. He said something like that. All right. And he was on, like, what is it? TMZ, not TMZ, like MTV, the Total Request Live, TRL. Remember that? Yeah, anyway.
Yeah.
I can get off topic. All right. Favorite sport to watch? You said you like watching sports, so.
Basketball and football. I love both of those equally.
Love it. Zoom. If you can't get enough, Zoom, Microsoft Teams,
Zoom.
Google Meet, Zoom. Okay, well, I'll just go right to the next.
Zoom 100 times out of 100.
Oh my God! Whenever we work with like different agencies where they have to use Microsoft Teams, it drives me freaking nuts, man. I do not like it. So, all right.
Yeah.
What is your? I'll make sure. Yeah, for all those out there, 5:45 a.m. and make sure to set it up on Zoom. Okay, another nugget here in this interview. If it's Google Meets, he will not accept the invite. All right. So, what is your spirit animal?
So I actually got a tattoo I can show for this one. So it's if you can see that.
I cannot. But what is it?
It's a wolf.
Oh wow! Now I can see it. Badass, man.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
Very cool. When did you get that?
2017. So 4 years ago.
Love it. Have you seen Call of the Wild with Harrison Ford?
Yeah.
Such a great movie. Such a great movie. Okay, so let's keep going. Window seat or aisle seat on an airplane?
Window all day.
Peanut butter or almond butter? Or neither?
PB.
PB for life. Omnivore, flexitarian, vegetarian, or vegan?
Omnivore.
I think you have to be, right? Like, so you can try all the products. It'd be kind of problematic.
Dude, yeah.
You can't try all the products.
Jesus. Today we had everything from ice cream, or I guess, plant-based ice cream. We had plant-based meat today. We had crackers, beverages. I mean, it was just sample city every Thursday, and almost every single day in retail is sample city, because I get boxes and boxes of products to try. So
wow.
And selfishly, like I do want to try as many of them as I can, because I got to figure out what we're selling our customers, and ultimately I spend a lot of time out on the sales floor too, because I want to understand my customers and their buying habits better, and if I can turn somebody on to a field roast hot dog, or a vegan dog or something like that they might not have tried, because they love tofurkey or love light life, then I like to do those things.
Awesome, man. Yeah, it's good to see what the consumers are doing, right? Because they're driving all your business, right? So very smart, very smart. Cold weather or hot weather?
Well, I moved from Michigan down here because I hated the cold. Well, I hated the cold for 6 months, so I'll say warm to. Actually, you know what? I've been to Thailand twice too, so I'll take the Thai hot.
Oh, very cool. So Thai, kind of warm, muggy, right? Kind of hot, right?
Hot and muggy.
Hot and muggy. Yeah, warm is an understatement. It's funny. I went to Thailand 3 times. What area did you go to?
Oh, hell yeah. I've been all over. I've been to Bangkok. I've been to Phuket, Krabi,
Chiang Mai.
A lot of those. I never went there though. That was north. That wasn't on our to-do list. But I love Thailand, man. I would retire there. I would live there. The people are so kind and so nice and so welcoming, and like they don't. I don't know if I can swear in here, but they don't really give a shit. Like they're just happy people. They doesn't matter what their day to day is like. They're just very personable people, and I love the culture.
Exactly. Yeah, they call it the land of 1,000 smiles. That's like what I learned when I went there, and it's got to be one of the most beautiful places on the planet, man. Like the islands and stuff, and the water. Like we did the
PP Islands and that was, or the James Bond Island or whatever that's called. I mean, that's just, there's some really gorgeous things there. Then obviously they got elephants and all that kind of stuff. So
oh yeah,
I would go back in a heartbeat.
Love it, man. Love it. I would have to. I'd have to agree with you. I'm definitely skewed in that direction because we use Thai coconuts for our product. But yeah, beautiful, beautiful country, man. Yeah, we have our partner facility is like 4 hours outside of Bangkok. So it's cool. It's cool when I was visiting, back in the day.
Yeah,
back in the day.
In it. Yeah, it's just. I mean, Bangkok's an awesome city, awesome culture. The food is amazing. Like, I try to find that kind of food here, and it's not likely that you're going to do that. And it's just cool, man. And it's not that expensive. I don't think it's expensive at all.
It's like $1, really, or for like $1 or $2 equivalent for like lunch, and like you just go Go ahead.
Did you go to any of the parties out that way? Any like the half moon or full moon parties or anything like that?
No. I just I know I look like a party animal, so my looks may deceive you, but no. I was out there for business 3 times, and one time I went out there with my wife, which was mostly business, and then some just hanging out for a day or two. But I was mostly in the Ratchat, they call it Ratchatpuri province, like the southwest area, about 3-4 hours outside of Bangkok. And we went to like eat at like the side of a road restaurant in the middle of nowhere. So it's pretty cool, right? They're just like cooking outside and their walks and making food for you. So anyway, we can go on and on.
I got my scuba diving license out there. On my last dive, we saw a whale shark, which was awesome. Like, it's just a really cool place.
I got to connect you with a friend. I know we're going off topic. I have a friend that was in the food and beverage business for many, many years. He was like a high-profile CEO, and he retired in Chiang Mai. I got to connect you with this guy. He knows everything about Thailand. He's been there for many years now. I'll send an email to you, and I'll connect you too, okay? For sure.
Cool.
So, all right, next question. LeBron James or Michael Jordan?
MJ.
All the way. Ginger or turmeric?
Ginger.
Favorite food or drink? I'm going to try to do this, but this is going to be very hard. Favorite food or drink if you're stuck on a deserted island, you cannot say any product that you have in Earth Fare. What would it be?
Holy cow. Damn.
That eliminates a lot of selection there.
So I can't sell the product. All right. I'm going to give you 2. I'm going to do just straight up Oreos or Bluebell butter pecan ice cream. Those
are good choices. Yeah. They'll give you a few more days on the island, survival. So right on, man. So that is, wasn't so much rapid because we got into a lot of detail, but that is somewhat rapid fire questions with Gavin Konkel, VP of Merchandising over at Fast Growing Earth Fare. And you really congrats on everything you've done, man. It's really impressive, and your work ethic is like no other. So congrats and huge kudos to everything you guys have accomplished at Earth Fare, Gavin. And thanks for being on our show.
I appreciate that, man. Thank you so much, and thanks for having me. And I'll connect you with my 2 buyers tomorrow on your Genius Juice.
Love it, brother. Love it. Thanks, man. All right, well, Gavin, you have a wonderful night. Thanks for staying up late with us. That is episode 95 of 15 Minutes of Genius. Again, we bring on awesome people, right? Whether it's investors, whether it's buyers, whether it's entrepreneurs. So yeah, if you're interested in being on this show, by the way, I really have not said this before, make sure to reach out to me on LinkedIn, private message me, or as a DM, they use DM now. Or you can also email me at alex@geniusjuice.com, and we can do an interview process. Would love to have you on. So yeah, another big plug for Mark Nicholas, Mark N at ManhattanBeachStudios.net for all your editing desires. He's your man. He's your guy. Make sure if you want to have a podcast, audio, video, photos, everything, anything studio related, he's your guy. So again, episode 95 in the books. And one last thing, stay genius, my friends.
Genius for life. Coconut smoothies coming at you.